great for us to continue to work with them. And we were hearing on the panel before how everything starts with data, right? She said, and so that's why we're looking forward also to working more with CDP, with cities and data. So thank you very much, Miriam. And let me see if I can do something about the noise outside.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's the third panel of the session, so thank you for all of those who are here. My name is Miriam Garcia. I'm the Associate Director for Policy Engagement at CDP Latin America. Why am I moderating ACA session? In Brazil, the ACA is a partnership between WWF, CDP, CBC, and ICLEI. So it's my pleasure to be here. And as Luli was talking, I think for us at ACA Brazil, data is a very important pillar of our ACA. Together with ICLEI, we do have the ICLEI Track platform where we see the data for subnational governments. When we talk about monitoring, transparency, accountability, all words that we've heard with Gonzalo Munoz, the high-level climate champion for Chile, with Manuel Pulgar Vidal, the COP president, and then later with Hazam, the high-level climate champion for COP28, how is important to make sure that we can connect transparency, accountability, and monitoring of all you're doing, like everything that is happening at the local level is important. So for me, it's a great honor to have a panel that is so representative of ACAs, but so representative of the globe and the challenges that we have. I'm pretty sure we're going to listen challenges that comes from developed countries, developing countries, and the challenges that you face as cities in the different arrangements, governance arrangements that you have inside your jurisdictions. So I'm sure that the Brazilian representative of Porto Alegre will be coming very shortly. There is our colleague from ICLEI South America, but I'm also happy to have here representation from Tokyo Metropolitan Region, so Japan. I have a representation from Sydney, Australia. I have a representation here from Durban, South Africa. Amazing. Then we have a representation from Cerro Navia, Chile. Amazing. And then Merida, Mexico. Amazing. So you're going to enjoy a lovely panel with a lot of representatives. And I would like to start with a first question. So I can start from Sydney, like the representative. You're going to be the first one. Yeah. Take into account that you and your colleague, you're native English speaker, so you're gonna support us on doing this. And I would like to ask two questions for you in the first round. So you have between 3 to 4 minutes. And of course, the first question, how is your city participating in the ACA of your country? So Australia, South Africa, Chile, Mexico, and Japan. And when Brazil arrives, Brazil. And the second question, all in once, all merged, would be what are the climate goals and plans that you're having in your city? So if you could start. I think there is a mic. Okay, great. 3 minutes. I'm sorry. I will have to moderate you quite well because I would like to hear the entire globe today.
Of course.
Thank you.
Could we start with Tokyo? Would that be all right? Could we start on the other side with Tokyo first?
No, that's fine. Sorry.
Could we start on the other side with the questions? Thanks.
I could start.
She asked her to be the third speaker. That's why. South Africa, you can start.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you. Maybe let me start by introducing myself, reintroducing myself as you did. I'm Councillor Nkosenhle Madlala. I'm from the city of Durban, formerly known as eThekwini Municipality. Maybe if you could repeat the question so that we can be on the road.
Of course. How do you work with ACA in your country? And what climate plans do you have in your city?
Oh, no, thank you very much. As the city of eThekwini, you are part of the 47 other local governments in our country that are participating. And we think that the coalition, the alliance is working towards the Paris goals. And we want to bring on board all sectors of society to work towards a common goal. In terms of we want to collaborate with business, with the youth, with civil society in ensuring that we achieve the goals. We have seen recently in our city that we were affected greatly by the floods, where we lost a lot of lives. And that is not only a city or a government problem, but a lot of businesses lost their property, lost hours of business, lost their profits. And therefore, when we are participating in this platform, we want to ensure that we bring them on board, we plan together, because if, for instance, people are displaced because of climate events, it's their business that is moving away from them. You know that when you are doing your business, you'll have your market analysis and everything. You know that the best place for your business is here. Suddenly there's a climate event and people are moved away and you've lost your business. So that is why we want to involve everyone, want to collaborate and share knowledge. What we have done is that we've provided knowledge through your webinars, where we are collaborating and forming partnerships, and we are hoping for the best.
Thank you. That was amazing. When you said the importance of working together, I think we can connect of what was said on the previous panel about the importance of collaboration and not take for granted how collaboration is hard. So I think it's a testimony of how you're willing to have courage to engage on the fight against climate change and, of course, adaptation, as you said, that you are already feeling the effects of floods and extreme events. So I would now like to go to Alejandra from Mérida, Mexico. Alejandra, if you could present yourself and tell us a little bit how is Mérida part of ACA Mexico and what is your climate plans?
Yes, of course. Well, nice to be here with all these panelists. It's with pleasure that we want to share with you a little bit things that in Mérida we have been doing. I want to start telling you that Mérida is the capital city of Yucatan in Mexico. So we have around 1 million population, and it has been hard because the city is growing fast. It's mainly urban, the growth that we have been having, and it's important to plan and to order and to align all these sectors that are growing among the city. So, for example, we, as part of the ACA, we have been trying to align with sectors such as construction sectors to decarbonize the sector, because it's one of the sectors that we have directly we can do something about. We regulate the construction sector, so we're working hard on that. And also, I want to say that we have this mainly objective of improve our qualification in CDP platform. We have been working a lot of making the data very accurate in our greenhouse gas emissions inventories, our risk atlas, so we can then start to improve also our goals. We have previous goals set, but now we are part of the Race to Zero, and we want to assure that the goals that we have on short term and long term are going to succeed on the goals that we have. So it has been very nice to work among all these other parts that help us and companion us to achieve this.
Thank you. That was amazing. And thank you for mentioning CDP Clay Track platform. I have colleagues from here. I'm pretty sure they are happy about it. And you brought another part of the equation, that it's the challenge of decarbonization and how much is important to the work, the collaboration between the public and private sector and bringing the view of regulation. All hands on deck, we need regulation. So I think you're in the right position also to address this challenge. So thank you for bringing this perspective. And now I would like to invite, just a second, Toshiko Shiba, who is representing the Tokyo Metropolitan Government in Japan. I think there are a lot of challenges and opportunity in being part of a metropolitan area that is probably one of the biggest in the world. Toshiko, to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice to meet you all. So I'm Toshiko Chiba from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Tokyo, the capital of Japan, and we are a member of the Japan Climate Initiative, JCI for short. So firstly, in this year, the Climate Change Initiative, JCI, celebrated its 5th anniversary. So thank you very much. Over the past 5 years, the number of members has increased 8-fold since its inception, with a total of 798 members participating.
Wow.
So, and the JCI's activities are national and international. So we have participated in this COP conference as a member of the delegation of Japan, and we have held some side events. And we are in country, we have conducted several meetings to exchange the future direction and its challenging and each other's. So through these activities, JCI has opened up new areas for NSAs in Japan's response to climate change. And we are proud of to say that we are now an indispensable presence in our country. So, and also I'll move on to the Tokyo's initiatives. So we at Tokyo are committed to achieving the 2030 carbon halving our greenhouse gas emission by 2030 from 2000 levels. And almost 70% of energy-related CO2 emissions in Tokyo come from buildings. That's why we have been focusing on the decarbonizing buildings since the 2000s. So, and we implemented several building measures from the planning stage to the renovation phase. And considering to achieve the 2030 goal, we consider the need to strengthen our building measures, in particular, further improvements in energy efficiency and expansion of use of renewable power and use of the low carbon materials. From last year to this year, we are trying to revise our regulations. So I would like to share some of our programs toward 2030. So some examples include and enhance our mandatory CO2 reduction emission program for large-sized existing buildings. We call it the Tokyo Cap and Trade program. And the new launch of the new program for new detached houses to promote the high thermal insulation and installation of the rooftop solar panels to ensure citizens' resilient, comfortable lives. So we are trying to strengthen our building measures, and we also, after the developing process, we happily gathered a really beautiful collaboration from the various actors, not only the business groups and also the younger generation. So we are trying to, of course, from now, we are trying to introduce or promote even more pioneering actions. So in order to meet our 2030 goals. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think you brought several interesting points in your talk. Is that right? Is that Tokyo Carbon Trade Program? Amazing to see this at a municipality or like at the subnational level. And having identified what are the biggest challenges, I think that's the way to go, because when you know, as you said, we do have buildings as a challenge, then you can address, as you said, with regulation, mandatory GHG emissions reductions, and I really love the collaboration with youth. Beyond the private and public sector collaboration, having the youth at the table, it's for sure not only an inspiring voice, but I think like the level of the requests when we are not working for so many years, you still like have this flame of belief that things could change in a fast way. So congratulations for that. And now I would like to move to Mauro Tamayo. So to bring the perspective from Chile, Mauro, to you.
Miriam, thank you. The first, thank you for to be here. My name is Mauro Tamayo. I'm from Chile. I'm the mayor of Cerro Navia, and want to say thank you to the World Wildlife Fund and ACA teams, yes?
Yes.
For making this possible, this event, this space, this conversation. For us, it's so important. Without your support, it's not possible my presence here. So thank you. I want to say, for us, we are working for many years. I'm mayor since 2016, for 7 years ago. And working for us is so important with another actors, national government, civil society, private actors, but NGOs is so important. NGO, different governments, but NGOs reproduce the same message every time. And in this sense, we're working for example, the first and unique food banking public in our country. The only one, the unique food bank public, is in municipality of Cerro Navia. That is very important for us. And the participation with ACA and WWF, in my country, 350 municipalities, 350, but only 19 working with ACA.
Wow.
I'm making more for the making, and I offer me to support that if it's possible. Yeah. I want to say with WWF, we're working together for the launch a wide to resolve to information the experience local about the weights of food, and it's possible if share a presentation, the last, use QR code and download this presentation. But only in this year, in this month, December, we will be celebrate 1 year of Cerro Navia working with ACA. The first 1 year is the first birthday, and I'm very happy. We believe it's possible making more. We are working together, but it's more than working together. Yes.
Thank you. I think you brought something that it's really important. How do we scale up the alliances? And I completely understand when you say ACA, Portuguese and Spanish, they are the same. So we say ACA for the ACAs. That's our ACA for ACA. So we use that. That's why. And that's a way that we are always telling, like, I have to keep telling my brain. It's not ACA, it's ACAs. But those are the alliances. And those are the alliances that we want to grow. as you said, like 19 municipalities out of 350, like there's so much more to do. And we know how subnational governments are engaged in Chile. Like you hosted, you had the presidents of COP, you had like a high-level climate champion that has pushed that agenda for subnational governments, that has supported to create the race to zero that some of you have mentioned. So we truly believe that is power in there to increase that in Chile. And now I would like to come back to William Chan to share the experience from Sydney, Australia.
Thank you. Bujari Gamarua, good day, in the traditional language of where I'm from, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation in Sydney, in Australia. I'm Councillor H.Y. William Chan, and I'm here as the acting Lord Mayor of Sydney during COP28. I'm also on the executive of Climate Emergency Australia, representing over 100 municipalities across the country towards a net zero economy. And it's been great being able to work with Climate Australia Network in Australia, Climate Action Network in Australia, CANA, which is the member group of ACCA, and being able to be one of the ambassadors to really promote not just local government towards climate leadership, but also the built environment. I'm also an architect. I wear many, many hats. So for us, it's been great really pushing and understanding how we can have multi-level action. As local leaders, we understand that we are quite limited in terms of what we can do. This is the first COP that local leaders and mayors and governors have been invited. And even though we have been invited, we weren't in the same room as the heads of states during the local climate action summit. For us, that's really important. Yes, it's great that this is historic, but we will keep pushing in terms of our voice and our leadership. What we've done in terms of Australia through CANA is really engage with housing. In terms of the state government is primarily responsible for housing, but also there's federal levels of government. And we've been able to really increase for residential the targets and the types of ambition that they have to meet 7 stars. It's been hard being able to have 7-star sustainability achieved, and that will mean, especially for renters, those in low social housing, public housing tenants and low-income tenants, to really recognise that they have a role to play and they need to be have the highest quality in terms of urban living and livability. In terms of City of Sydney and what we've been doing, we've been really spearheading how we can show leadership, being a very well-resourced local council. We, through Resilience 100 Cities, we have finally developed a platform across the other 33 municipalities in Greater Sydney so that all our data speak to each other. This data allows us to actually plan ahead, plan our cities. We've also been able to take the lead on our own operations on carbon. Since 2 years ago, all of our civic city operations, so all our venues, all our swimming pools, community centres, even City Hall, have run on 100% renewable electricity. Because we want to prototype in-house first, we want to do that work and actually show our industry that we can get there. What we've done now is apparently the world first to have net zero operational carbon in terms of commercial buildings, new buildings beginning from 2026.
Wow.
From 2026, and I've, as a councillor, have been able to approve 3 new developments, working with architects, working with the proponents, and they have agreed to meet our targets to be net zero operational within 3 years' time.
Amazing, amazing for sharing data. And I think, as you said, a multi-level action seems to be the word of this COP. And as you said, like being here to share all those best practices that you are doing within your jurisdiction is a way to showcase it to the head of states, head of delegations that are at this moment inside the rooms negotiating, that they can come home with like a pledges that are ambitions, because you're delivering that. And I think that's very important when you said, like, we take the lead on operation. So, like, you're leading by example. And this is important also, like, to make sure collaboration with private sector will work because you're the leaders in terms of example. So I think for this first round is amazing, and it was great to have you at the end because it connects to my second question. I think you are here like since December 1st. Joining the local climate action summit, which was the first of its kind, like held by Bloomberg and also by COP presidents. But I think like more important than the physical space and the fact that you guys are together discussing, debating, exchanging best practices, another thing that was really important was to see the declaration. So when we see the CHAMP declaration, there is a commitment of more than 60 countries. I saw 63 2 days ago, 64 yesterday. So I will not try because probably 65 today and hope even higher the number. But like commitment from national governments to make sure that subnational governments will be part of their NEDC review process, but more importantly, in a way that will secure climate finance for cities. I'm pretty sure if you are from a developing country or for a developed country, cities climate finance, it's a hurdle that you should face. So the next question from all of you is, what is your takeaway from the local climate action summit? How do you are planning to work with your national government, with other subnational governments to make sure that you are going to be in the next NEDCs, and by the way, to be presented at COP30 in Brazil. So more than welcome to have you all telling. We did that 2 years during these 2 years, and we are presenting this in Brazil. So let's follow the same order. I'm going to start with Durban, South Africa. How the NEDC from South Africa will have a local government? So what you're planning?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Maybe let's start with the reflection on the inclusion of local governments in this year's COP. I think we need to welcome that and thank the organizations that have led us as local government in ensuring that we get a seat at the table, and we also get the commitments that we were looking for. Now, going forward, in terms of the relationship between our national governments and the subnational, I think it's a struggle that we all need to get ready for, because as much as we have the approval of the damage and loss funding, you will know that that happens in cities, in subnational, and therefore the access to those resources we need to ensure that we don't only have a seat at the table here at the negotiations, but also at how actions are planned, how the money is disseminated, and where the money is directed. We also need to have a seat there as local governments, because I can assure you, the councillor sitting next to me and the mayor on my left, if someone has been affected by a flooding, they're not going to go looking for the president. They are going to go looking for the councillor or the mayor. And therefore, that money needs to come to cities and subnational governments to ensure that it goes to where it's supposed to go. Secondly, in terms of the NDCs, I think the question should be how are national governments going to work with cities now that cities have been fighting, they've been making a call, and their call has been heard at this level. How are national governments going to work with us? Because we find that even in terms of the collaborations and the partnerships, there are more partnerships at city level than you'll find at national. If cities were negotiating in this COP28, we'd have more agreements than we have today, because it's easier for cities to agree on issues regardless of the national politics and all of that. That is why you have organizations like your C40 cities, where cities across the globe are collaborating and they are finding each other, be it cities from the developed world, developing and the underdeveloped, we can collaborate. We have shown that, we have led the way, and therefore, in terms of the taking these achievements forward, I think the cities should take a lead. And therefore, the NDCs should come down to because the plans are already there at city level. So national governments need to start working with us. In fact, for them to be able to access that money, they should be able to say, what are they going to do in working with their cities and ensuring that the money is spent where it's supposed to be spent? Maybe let me end there.
Thank you. I think that was a very inspiring. A round of applause, please go ahead. Applauses, yeah, because as you said, you know how to collaborate because you know you need to talk to the city that it's near you as a Tokyo metropolitan area. Networks of city that are global, national, regional. So you know how to collaborate. We know that collaboration takes time. Let's not take for granted that go in a room to collaborate. No, it requires trust. It requires several rounds of meetings and everything else. But you know to do that. And as you said, I think you said something that is very important. Cities have the plan because citizens are coming to you. So you need to have a climate action plan. I know what is my adaptation measures will look like. I know what my mitigation measures will look like. So money is ready to go to those plans. So I think the direction of the flow of the money to the cities is a direction of effectiveness because we know that this will help to deliver the climate action plans. And now I would like to hear a little bit more from Mexico. Merida, please.
Yeah, well, actually, talking a little bit more of the participation of Merida in COPs, we started attending as an observers, and now it's the second year we participate as parties. And I think it's really important. Last year also we talked about the importance of cities participating on these decisions because it's the territory that is tangible. Our mayor with license always said, we decide with the citizens what is the future and the destination of the city, of the citizens, and of the community. So it is important to take awareness of the importance of the participations of city governments and the city in general. Also about the ONGs that are working with us. Actually, we are having, for example, daily meetings with as a Mexican delegation, and we are discussing, and they are talking to us about what is going on each of the agreements that have been working on. And actually, I want to point that Merida has this huge commitment of working on this multi-level, because we have been working with the state a lot, for example, on the transport sector that is becoming a lot different. We have electric public transport now, and that is really, for me, that work on the sustainability part of the municipality is that it's exciting to know what is going to be in a few years our inventory, and how we as citizens have been empowering of this transition, of this using the electric public transport and leave the cars and start to flow with this important moving, because it's also about habits, it's also about behavior, and we have to be part of that transition. And we think that in the goals, we also, for example, one theme that has been very important is about the risk. Recently in Mexico, we have been suffering a lot of the hurricane and huge storms. Merida is also one, not recently, but yes. And we have been working on this insurance, urban insurance facility for urban infrastructure, insurance facility, so we can be prepared in case of these huge events, and not to have these huge costs that doesn't allow us to have this kind of insurance. So that, again, data for us has been very important, and data not only comes from what the municipality can have, but also the state and also the federal government that, for example, in terms of energy, is the main sector, of course, that has this emissions participation. And now in Merida, we are, have been trying to make the transition to renewable energy, clean energy. But of course, we have also this natural gas, new plants. I know that it's also a big discussion in this COP, but I mean, I think we are like transiting again on this. So I think participation of the city on these decisions on NDCs is going to be actually very important.
Thank you. Thank you for your inspiring words when you said like the vision of success or the vision of net zero we're going to have in the city, like with probably less cars or zones without cars, the electrical buses and everything. I thinking like having this kind of a positive view to bring it to the table when you're building a NEDC, this is marvelous. So I was already imagining my city, São Paulo, how this could look like. So I think this is the kind of approach that we also need, because of course there are going to be losses in the transition, and there is an entire debate about just transition, but there is also like one that we would like to show to the society that we are going to be winners of this transition. So thank you for sharing that. And now back to Tokyo. How do you plan to the metropolitan area of Tokyo? How do you plan to engage with the NEDC in Japan?
Okay, firstly, I'm sure that the importance of the role of cities has been said more than a decade. Regarding the COP conference, that is really valuable, where we can share the same concerns and discover friends and share our ideas each other's. So, and also regarding the local climate action summit this year, the really celebrating year, but from my point of view, the next challenge is to go beyond the fact that the local government leader participated and find a direction for what to do in the next toward act practically. So following this situation, the role of national government roles is really crucial, we believe. So I'll give you some statistics in Tokyo. In Tokyo, our energy consumption has been reduced by around 27% compared to the 2000 levels. But our greenhouse gas emissions have only been reduced by 2.3%. This is because an increase in emission factor of power. So the most electricity used in Tokyo is generated fossil fuels. This is a reality. That's why for our local governments, the national governments, the role of national governments is really crucial. This is because they are responsible for finding out the next energy transition, such as the generation power mix. So we strongly expect the national government leaders to steadily increase the share of renewable energy, including the installation of rooftop solar PV or expansion of offshore wind powers. So we also collaborate. We also be able to collaborate with various actions between the national government and local governments. The following our initiatives from local government sides, that is definitely can be able to contribute the nationwide the NDCs. So we need more collaboration with the national government, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you. That was also very important. Like when we have a big problem in front of us, like cleaning the room to see what should be done. As you said, like we needed to be practical in the sense of like what is going on here and where should we tackle first. And I think you have this view with the numbers and stats that you shared and can share this with the government, like to provide this like a course of correction in terms of the traveling planning. Very, very interesting. And now going to Chile, how do you intend to collaborate in Chile?
Miriam, let me talk about Cerro Navia. Cerro Navia is a urban commune. There live more or less 150,000 inhabitants. It's small, 11 kilometers square. It's very small. And it's very near, it's very close of the center city, 15 or 20 minutes of the center. But it's the third highest priority social or community. The first, La Pintana. The second, Lo Espejo. The third, Cerro Navia. After 49, only the metropolitan area. My country, Chile, is a great country. It's a beautiful country. It's a rich country. But it's very unequal, my country. But for that, we don't have time to waste. Don't have time. And working, for example, with many people now in three areas. One, the planning. Our plan for many action, all the municipality, Pladeco, 2023 to 2030, is the only plan in all my country based in SDGs. Every action contributed every course. Very order for making and understand the contribution of our community of the development. And number two, action. Recently, the last week, know our footprint carbon. We don't know how consume the carbon, how can improve this way. And the civil society. For us, it's so important, the civil society. In different programs, for example, the Academy Agroecological and the Fund of the Environment in Municipality, or for example, in the micro food banking. Community organization, they know where is the people, where is the needed in the older, the person with disabilities. And they delivery the food another neighbor. In this action, for example, and in the end of this meeting, I want to give this is the, how do you say, ollas comunes, kitchen, popular kitchen? How do you say?
Yes.
Popular kitchen, the people organized to the cooking and delivery other people. And in my country, many years ago, the dictator, the people must organize it, and this practice now in 2023 is a reality. And this talk about that. And for finish, for national government, the municipality at the border is a zone, is not important. For that, don't consider it, for example, to the negotiation teams for the big goals, big agreement. And we know your accords, your agreement, 2 years or 3 years before, is not near the relations. If the national government know that local government is possible, local government be more ambitious, be more braver, be more faster. The change is possible. I believe change the world is possible. Begin the territory.
Thank you. I think, yeah, as you said, we should also connect the change with social inequality. This is something that we have to do when we think about climate. And I really appreciate the public food bank example, because I know food production systems is one of the themes of this presidency, this COP, and this is also connected not only in terms of how much GHG emissions we are meeting for the food production, but who is having access to food? This is also connected to social inequality, thinking for bringing that. And our last intervention from William, Sydney, Australia, how we are willing to contribute. And you're probably going to have the presidents after Brazil. So if you were taking the stock of any diseases, Brazil, then Australia, probably.
With the Pacific.
Yeah.
Look, I think it was this is my first time at COP, and being able to attend the local climate action summit, it was really incredible. For the first time, Bloomberg also brought together their Mayor's Innovation Lab to COP. And the theme of that was on young people and how do mayors, city leaders engage with the next generation. For me, being a younger politician, it was great to be able to for them to recognize the need for younger voices to be able to have the next generation included in terms of not just our 2030 plans, but our 2050 plans. At the City of Sydney, we have 58% of people are under the age of 35.
Wow.
Myself included. Majority of the population in the City of Sydney is young. We have a young community. That being said, we also have over 50% of our community being born overseas, myself included. So I actually fit both of these categories. And I think it's really important for us to recognize how do we engage for the citizens of the future. And in council chamber, where I make decisions on the table, I've put a little label next to the empty chair next to me. And it has citizen of 2050 on that label. And as a decision maker, as a policy maker, it reminds me that I'm not making decisions for today, not for the now, not for the community that I speak to, the community that is complaining about and sending me emails every day. But I'm representing the Sydney-sider, the citizen of 2050. And it reminds me that I'm here to occupy a space that I might not necessarily thought I would occupy. But being with the other mayors has allowed me to feel that I'm not alone. That I felt during the local climate action summits that I am really representing not just my community, but really representing the others in terms of the other leaders who might not have the opportunity to be here at COP, but also to find my network, to find my people. And I feel like I found my people in terms of the challenges we face, the vulnerability that we deal with our day-to-day, but then also the sacrifice we make as elected members in public office. I've only been elected for 2 years, but I think it's important for me to continue this work because of the networks I found from C40 to ICLEI to ACCA in terms of me pushing this vision and our action. A good example in terms of the leadership we've had to work very hard on is for the past 10 years in Australia, we've had a conservative national government. Within our state, we also had a conservative state government, both who, more so nationally, who didn't believe in climate action. As a city, we kind of just powered through that. We kind of just did the work, and we're doing it in terms of bringing other cities, other municipalities, but we're also bringing the private sector. We've just opened in Australia, that's a City of Sydney asset, 3 levels in the new Salesforce building down next to the Sydney Opera House, the largest co-located climate tech hub in the country. This is the city's work. The Australian government now is a different party, a different government, but we need to kind of rebuild those relationships.
Yes.
We kind of have to change gears and tactics in terms of how do we negotiate with them. And even our net zero everything strategy target is net zero by 2035. Because we now have a different Australian government, we're investigating, could we push that to 2030?
Amazing. And as you said, like with the change of government we had also in Brazil, we need to learn again how to sit on the table and discuss. Like we were happy on the first day, and then the second day, oh, hello, let's discuss again. So this is also challenging. And thank you for talking about that. I remember like once I watched like a speech from Kofi Annan, and he told like how important is for youth to believe in politics. Like we need the next generation to believe in politics and to engage in politics. Otherwise, there will be no salvation for us and for the world. And thank you so much. I'm inviting Luli here also to tell, because this was such an amazing panel, and they have to work to do over the next year. So it would be good to take stock of that, like in the next COP, and to see how they collaborated with the national government. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing in your countries, in your cities, and it was a pleasure to be here with you today. A round of applause. Oh, let's take a photo.